Hi, Cheez-Its. Welcome back to another rant where this time I finally talk about my Scooby-Doo obsession. We're finally getting to know the origins of Scooby-Doo. Big fan, no way. If you know me, I absolutely love this show, the movies, and of course, the merchandise. So much so to the fact I've made several references in real time to Scooby movies that often nobody understands unless I show the actual clip, because, of course, why would they, bro?
Man, have you seen all this hate Mr. Least keeps getting? Some of this gotta be made up.
You know, it kind of reminds me of, in Scooby-Doo Monster in Mexico, when that one animatronic parrot tells all the tourists they disturb the gods, so, everyone just mindlessly starts hating on them and stuff. Okay, I'll go die now. I genuinely don't even know the amount of times I've probably said, "Let's get him, Bogle," or
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
for freaking no reason. Anyhow, I might as well start with how I started watching the show. Eons back in the era of the 2010s. Back when I was a little jit, my family loved to travel, a lot. But being in the US, that obviously means saying no to a 1-hour plane ride, and hello, sailor. So, to pass the time, me and my brother would watch movies in the car and take turns with what movie we'd watch. In his case, it'd probably be something like Ben 10, and mine would always have to be something Scooby-Doo related, to the point he actually got sick of the franchise and started hating on it. Originally though, before I got super into Scooby, I really liked watching DC shows, specifically Justice League, Batman Brave and the Bold, and the Batman series, which on a side note, definitely has my favorite rendition of Joker. He's so goofy, I can't. One day though, my parents bought the DVD of the original series, and I was absolutely hooked. There was a different kind of charm that the Hanna-Barbera shows had for me at the time, and I really started going into the rabbit hole of discovering such as Hong Kong Phooey, The Funky Phantom, Grape Ape, Speed Buggy, Captain Caveman, all that random obscure stuff, which, eventually comes back into the Scooby franchise eventually, one way or another. For example, the Laugh Olympics feature a lot of these characters, but there's also references to them throughout, where one character dresses up as Hong Kong Phooey in a Halloween episode, and this is the Youngins or something like that. There's another episode in Mystery Inc. where several of these characters come back in one of Scooby's dreams, and seeing that for the first time was genuinely so unexpected, but just so peak as someone in the know. Anyways, every time I would get my hands on a Scooby DVD, I would watch the heck out of that thing in the car, to the point where I now have a crazy collection of physical Scooby media, and I shall never get rid of them. My favorite movie, though, is for sure the Kiss movie. Prior to this, I'd never really listened to any of their music, aside from that one episode and What's New, I guess. And the music was a big part of the storytelling here. Now, I'm not gonna get too into it since y'all should definitely check it out, but it's such a weird and different premise from the usual formula, and combined with the peak music that Kiss makes, it's an absolute cinema movie. Fun fact, Fred's a hater of Kiss in the movie, but the song he plays and glazes was actually made by the band, and it's really stupid, but I don't care. Speaking of music, Scooby-Doo genuinely has some really underrated bangers in the shows and movies. Okay, I think the Mook animated movies do have some incredible songs, especially since they include the Hex Girls in one of them, but there are plenty of opening sequences or chase scenes that just kind of get overlooked. I think Stage Fright is a good example of this. They have this really unique art style, and I love the song too, and they also have a Fred. My favorite chase song, however, is definitely Man with the Hex. I have this and Spanish Fly on my playlist, and this guy's voice is so good, but unfortunately there's only one album, and I wouldn't say I enjoy the other songs as much, but the way that I legit recorded these songs on a recorder, like the old physical one, so that I could listen to them in the car, because, I didn't have a phone, probably looked really goofy carrying that around.
Honestly, I feel like the Scooby-Doo songs were a really big reason why I got so into the show. For one, when me and my brother were younger and we were just watching all these movies, we had such a good time, and genuinely, like, we would keep singing some certain songs over and over again. Specifically, two come to mind. There's one from Moon Madness where it's like,
fear is just the word, a four-letter word, like love and meet and made.
F la 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 la, E la 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 la, A la 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 la, R. All like, dude, we used to sing the heck out of that song. I doubt he remembers it, but I definitely remember it, and I'm sure it annoyed our parents like crazy. There was also a song from Mystery Incorporated called You're Dead Right, Mate, and I know oh my god, bro, every time there was like some sort of memorable song like that, I'm sure we must have been so annoying about it, but it's genuinely like one of those memories that's just like, oh, I remember those days, and you know what, those were peak songs. I have a little playlist with some songs I enjoy, and I'll be putting the link in the description if y'all want to check that out, though some are definitely better than others. Don't mind some of the joke ones that I might have in there. Wow, that's one heck of a stutter. Okay. As much as I absolutely adore the show, that doesn't mean I can, really ignore some of the things wrong with it. And one of my biggest gripes is how Velma is constantly shoving down our throat,
The monsters can't possibly be real. That they're science. They're science.
as if countless movies and episodes, are now retconned. This definitely existed earlier on in the show, where Velma started to sarcastically say, "It'll probably end up being some dudes in costumes, ha ha ha," but it slowly turned into a really big part of her character. Like, there's just one point where she short circuits and faints because the monster was real, which in hindsight was kind of funny, but the joke has been absolutely done to death. Like, if she had that realization once, perfectly fine character development, but when she resets it every single time and says the same thing just to find out maybe they are real or something, or there's magic, I don't freaking know. In the next one, she's just back to square one. It's kind of annoying. I do, however, like her sarcastic jokes when they're done well. I think that's definitely one part of her character I enjoy. Another character that unfortunately got completely rewritten was Dynamite. Now, I legit never see anyone talking about him, and the original is meant to be its own thing, separate but from Scooby-Doo. They have quite a few crossovers, and also the intro shares similarities. You can't tell me, it's unrelated, because it's not. Dynamite is a really goofy robot dog that fights crime alongside Blue Falcon, and the show's first episode featured them and the Scooby Gang solving a mystery. Now, Dynamite was known for malfunctioning a lot, which is where a bunch of comedy came in, and whenever he was shown again in the franchise, although those meetings were pretty short, he was kept pretty consistent as a character. That is, until 2020. You see, in 2020, we got this, shall we say, gem of a movie called Scoob, which brought back the characters, but this time they rewrote Dynamite's character to be extremely serious, and the voice of reason, which his goofy going from
The last time I took a bath, I got water in my ear and spent the whole day listening to myself rust.
to I am behind on taxes. I need to pay my taxes. I am a grown adult dog.
I also had Dynamite on DVD, evidently, and thought the show was pretty goofy and fun, and then they had to go and completely ruin it. To be fair, the movie meant to feature the Blue Falcon didn't actually have the Blue Falcon or Dynamite from what I remember, and instead had them going to a Comic-Con, so maybe it's just been a long time coming. I might be one of the few Dynamite fans left, but I stand proud with my opinions. Please bring it back to us. There's a lot of other issues within the franchise, especially with a lot of the movies in What's New Scooby-Doo era, like genuinely, the movies featuring different cultures were written so badly in some parts. Good God, don't get me started on the Hawaiian one, because yeah, of course, everyone lives in a grass hut by the beach, and we have a volcano god that gets angry because of a surfing contest. This low-key starting to make me look like a hater, bro.
The last thing I'm gonna bring up with complaints is regarding the Hex Girls.
Not the original, that's Forever Peak, but unfortunately, for some reason, someone decided to whitewash our girl Luna here. Like, genuinely, I have no clue why they decided to do this, and thank God in Mystery Inc. they melanated her. Jeez, that sounds weird.
The writers also made them a lot less, I don't know, weird. Like, they had a lot of charm in the original, and being kind of mysterious, and I guess behaving like
I'm an eco-goth with friends. I don't care what you think of me. I'm gonna be myself, you know?
Like, in What's New, all of that mystique kind of got shredded, thrown into a Hex Girls labeled compost bin, and the plant that grew from it became malnourished.
It sucks, bro, because the characters were really cemented into goth culture, and although they were able to be brought back up to kind of how they were before, it was never quite the same. There was even a pitch to create a Hex Girls TV show, but it got, scrapped. Which, side note, I know that the franchise hasn't been getting the most amount of love lately, but like, why? I would have eaten that up. Maybe one day we'll get more Hex Girls content. It's only been 6 years. Anywho, that's all I gotta say about the franchise. Well, if we don't want this to end up as a 2-hour video essay. Even though not everything's perfect, there's so much charm that comes out of the movies and shows that makes me so happy to watch them. Honestly, I don't think I'll ever have a hyperfixation quite like this one because it's my original comfort show, and you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way, even if it's impossible to find fellow fans out in the wild. So on that note, I'll leave you with some random facts. Daphne's family originally got rich off selling bubble bath. Shaggy and Scooby once got arrested for driving under the influence, aka drugs. Fred's worn a skirt before. Velma was proposed to by Johnny Bravo. And finally, in a Camp Laszlo bumper, Shaggy is a streaker. Who even... You know what? I'm not even gonna ask, man.